welcome back to my channel. This is Brea Ellis from the blog Where I Went at BreaEllis.com. Where I Went is a trip planning resource for the stylish traveler, and today I'm going to talk to you about a recent group trip I took 9 women on to Morocco.
Day 1 was our first day in Morocco. We arrived in Marrakech excited to see our riad. After welcome tea, we had a chance to freshen up, change, and get ready for our welcome dinner, which was hosted at the home of a local chef. Day 2, we still were in Marrakech. We got a guided tour of the city, including a trip to Bahia Palace that I found extremely interesting. Afterwards, we visited the YSL Museum and Jardin Majorelle. Day 3, it was time to venture a little farther out from Marrakech to the Dardes Valley. We traveled over the high Atlas Mountains to take a tour of the Atlas Film Studio. This is where famous things have been filmed, like Prison Break and Game of Thrones. We also visited the palace at Bin Haddou. We had such a fun time. Our tour guide at the Atlas Film Studios was actually an extra in Game of Thrones. Day 4 was all about exploring Dardes Valley, also known as Valley of Roses. First, we went to a farmer's market where we played a supermarket sweep game. We paired off into groups of 2 and we were tasked to each purchase one ingredient that went into the couscous. We don't speak the language and we don't know how much things should cost. It was an adventure, but we had so much fun. Then we went to the home of our tour guide and his family used the ingredients to make us couscous for lunch. While we were cooking the couscous, we had a display by a local metalsmith. He showed us how he makes bracelets, and he wrote our names on the bracelets, hammered them in Arabic. We were so excited about this. Afterwards, we went and some of the people had a traditional hammam experience, which is very similar to a Korean spa experience. And after that, we got to visit a rose oil co-op where we learned all about the roses that are harvested in the Dades Valley. Day 5, it was time to leave Dades Valley and head deep into the Sahara Desert. But first, we made a stop at Taroudant Gorge. This is a water feature that is man-made and is breathtaking to see. Afterwards, we were all excited to go to a traditional Berber rug co-op. We learned about so many different types of rugs: camel hair, baby camel, cactus silk, and we all purchased rugs for our homes. Afterwards, it was finally time to go deep into the dunes. We took a 45-minute camel ride through the Sahara Desert and spent the night in a luxury Day 6, we were finally ready to leave the camp. An overnight experience deep in the Sahara Desert is something we'll never forget. We got back on our camels and started our trek back across the Sahara Desert. Once we arrived, we took lots of selfies with the camels, and then we went to a nearby village full of Ghanaian musicians. The Ghanaian musicians are the most closely related to Black people in America and the experience of slavery, so their story was something that was really emotional for us. After we went and visited them, we drove further and stayed in a traditional 17th century kasbah. That was a wonderful experience. We all had dinner together, and fun fact, they were shooting a movie while we were there, so we might be famous.
So Hamlia, it's a little bit different of the village of here, because all the majority of the people are black skin. So
Day 7, we departed our kasbah in Agdis and traveled to Taroudant. Taroudant is a town known for their traditional silver metal jewelry. We had so much fun shopping in the market. We were very lucky. The Berber market in Taroudant only happens on 2 days a week, and we were there on one of those days. We were supposed to get a deeply immersive tour of the entire city, but we spent 3 hours shopping in the market, so we didn't get around to that. However, Taroudant was my favorite place we went so far. The hotel was beautiful. I would definitely come back just to stay at that hotel. We also, once we left Taroudant, got to go to visit a saffron co-op. We just missed the saffron harvest, so everything is fresh and available. Day 8, we were so sad to leave Taroudant, but really excited because we were heading to Essaouira. This beach town is a favorite of tourists from all countries around the world. Surfers love to come here, and people love to come here to shop the markets. On the way to Essaouira, we saw a bunch of trees with something special in them, and an old farmer who was happy to have us pull over. We got to stop and visit the tree-climbing goats. After that, we got to see an argan oil co-op, which was great because the trees that the goats were climbing were argan oil trees. We learned so much about how argan oil is made, and we got lots of products to take home. Once we arrived in Essaouira, it was so warm and beautiful, and we were so excited. We made it to dinner in time to watch the sunset, and then we had an amazing fresh fish dinner. the last day of our trip. We left Essaouira and headed to Marrakech, but first we got our hands done in henna, a traditional art here in Morocco. We also stopped by our winery for some wine tasting and some souvenirs. When we made it back to Marrakech, we had some time to freshen up, pick up a few last-minute items, and then we put on some of our best purchases from our trips along the way, and we had a farewell dinner at the hotel where we started the whole trip.